Hey y'all, I'm Arwen, the professional joy seeker, and I'm also a professional tarot consultant. And as you know, Barbara Walters wannabe of YouTube. And look, I have scored an interview with somebody I've been wanting to talk to since before she came back. Now, I say that because she's actually I think a lot of people would agree, she's one of the original witches of YouTube. You like that? We're not going to call her old, because I actually am older than she is, but she is one of the original people. When I first came to YouTube, everybody said, oh, you've got to go to this person's YouTube and watch all her channel. And I said, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. So I was super excited to hear that TipToeChick has in fact returned to YouTube. And she's been back a couple of months now, so it's not like a big news. But thank you so much for joining me. Please say hi and tell everybody who is living under a rock about your channel.
Hey everybody, it's very good to see you all, and thank you, Arwen, so much for having me on here and get to talk to you finally. But yeah, who am I? Who's TipToeChick? I guess the only way I could say is I'm an herbalist at heart, lover of the earth, nature, and original natural born witch. I used to identify it by just saying I'm Wiccan. During that time a few years ago, it was a lot easier to say, but as you grow and get older, I found that just paganism in general is the best umbrella to define myself under. But what am I about? I'm about healing people, whether it's emotionally, spiritually, through the use of herbs, energy work, or just motivational speaking and giving somebody a shoulder and an ear to lend to, and some advice and life experience that they can learn from, and confidence and love. All about the love. I should have
Your channel is super positive, I find, and it's super realistic. It's super. They tell me I just started broadcasting, so whoops, I don't know what's going on. If somebody will shout out at me in the chat that you can see us, that'd be awesome. But I like that while you're positive, you're also what I call, y'all will pardon my French, fucking authentic. I don't feel like you're bullshitting me when you get on your videos and talk to me about stuff. Yeah. How do you do that? I mean, how does that come across? Is that just naturally you? Are you like that all the time?
I'm definitely, what you see is what you get. There's no, you meet me down the street, and I'm literally the same exact person. I find it's a lot easier to maintain, and you're not having to live a lie, and you're not having to fool anybody. I don't want to fool anybody. I want people to know me and accept me for me, or dislike me for me, whatever it is. But I just find that it's just a lot easier to communicate my message or what I'm trying to get across if I just do it the way I do it in everyday life,
Yeah, that's me. I told somebody that and that's the way I have my personal Facebook page, is kind of the way I live my life. Everybody's on there. Mm-hmm. And that's people I knew in grade school, high school, pagans, Christians, Tea Party, Democrat. Yeah. They're all there, because I cannot filter mm-hmm. effectively and authentically who I am just to please this group of people.
It's too much work, and it's so much work to have to filter. And me, I will accept all walks of life. We can agree or we can disagree, and we can debate till our faces turn blue, but I could still respect somebody just the same, and take in what they have to say, and vice versa, and really just build a dialogue on it and gain some knowledge for it. And it's just so much easier to just give that unconditional love. Some people are just seemingly not about that. There's no way you can't do that. You can't love everybody. Well, you kind of can, because it takes more energy to hate than it does to love,
Yeah.
I just think it's so important. It's so hard to find these days. And I feel like it's just my innate nature to be that person. Even if it's a spark for a moment, then I've done my part, however long it lasts.
Exactly. And for me, I talk about my hula hoop. I can only control what's in my hula hoop. And what's in my hula hoop is me. and how I want to be. I want to be able to go to bed at night and think, okay, you were a nice person. You tried to treat people respectfully, and you dealt with people that nourished you. I'm real big on dealing with people who give back to me in some way, and there's an exchange. And I'm not talking about money or any, but just that there's that symbiotic thing that happens when you meet somebody, and some people take and never give. And I want to do both. I don't want to ever be a taker. I'll take sometimes, but I want to give back.
Yes. It's like I always say this quote, what I take, I freely give, or what I freely give, or what I take, I freely give is the only way I could say it. Because it is,
Yeah.
you want people that reciprocate exactly what you said. It doesn't have to be monetary, it doesn't have to be materialistic by any means, but a thank you, just a certain look, a vibe, just that exchange of energy is just so rejuvenating. And it recharges you, even if somebody feels like they're draining you by telling you their story and their sad story, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to, it's like, no, please do, because I feel that I'm at least doing something for you in return by giving you that ear of non-biased ear to listen to. And if I can help and give you some love back, then, we've helped each other. And
Yeah, and I tell people that because when I do readings for people, they're
Mhm.
like, "Oh, I don't want to tell you my sob story." I said, "It's not a sob story.
No,
It's
it's not.
your story."
Absolutely.
And calling it a sob story is applying
Hmm.
that expectation that you think society's going to dislike it. Maybe they may. They
It
may.
may.
A lot of them like, we don't want to hear another sad story, but
Yeah.
it's okay. And particularly when you come to me as a client, for crying out loud, you have paid me money. I am here as your employee
Hmm.
for this full hour.
Hmm.
I work for you.
Absolutely. And that's something I've always told all of my clients as well, as far as, consultations for herbs, or there's people that are like, Dee, I don't want to tell you, this is so embarrassing. And it's like, sure it is, but I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to get grossed out. I'm not going to tell anybody, because it's that separation of personal and business. It does not cross the line. And when you can do that and allow people to feel comfortable, you can really help somebody or give them the advice that they need or help that they need, by giving them that trust. And some people just don't feel comfortable. It's hard to ask for help from somebody that you don't connect with, because it's like
Yes.
superficial, you know.
Well, let me ask you a couple of the questions. This is a 13 questions I want to know about you, and there are about 20 questions because, as I always say, I don't count so well.
I didn't do good math either.
My first question for you, Dee, is who's the first person you watched on YouTube? What made you become, one of the YouTube witches? Was there anybody out there when you started?
No, actually, no, there really wasn't. It was the end of 2005. I started watching it, and that's basically when YouTube just came out. And then at the end of 2006, it was in October, I decided to make an account. And I was going through, it was fresh out of a divorce. So I was trying to find I was 26, I was trying to find my identity again. And I happened there was a small community then, watch a few different people and just see how they were just vlogging. So it inspired me. And there was one video actually that came out on, it was actually a racism video. Um, and it was a guy on CNET and talking about exterminating white people. And I just remember becoming livid at somebody talking about that, how you just say exterminate anybody. I don't care if purple, black, green, blue, orange, whatever you are. It's like, what? So tangent went off. And then after that, I just started talking, and I ran out of things to talk about. What do I talk about? Well, I talked about what interested me the most, my spiritual path, and it kind of just blew up from there. Yeah.
Now, what I'm seeing in the chat is she's my first. She's the original OG. I don't know what OG means. She's the original OG YT witch. Oh, Laura, don't be using those youthful things with me, girl.
Oh golly, oh golly gee. Yeah, it's like
But lots of people, and like I said, that Ember Honeyraven, who's my girl, we actually know each other real life and have known each other for, oh gosh, 15 years easy.
that's
But
awesome.
she told me that I had to watch TipToeChick.
Yeah.
And
It's,
first I said, what kind of name is TipToeChick?
what does that mean? Where did you get that name? I've heard that
Well,
forever.
I'm so old. I honest to God expected you to be playing a ukulele because I hear tiptoe and all I can think of is tiptoe through the tulips
That
every
is
time.
so true. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's
So
I couldn't think of a name
where did
at the
TipToeChick
time.
come from? Okay.
Couldn't think of a name at the time, and I walk on my tippy toes. I have my whole life, and I'm a chick, so I was like tiptoe chick, and it's stuck. So it works.
Okay, we're going to need to work with that. I want a better story, and it's going to go something like, I was out under the full moon, and I was
And I was
dancing,
naked around
and
the
the
fire,
goddess said, get up on your tiptoes, chick.
and I was dancing, and all of a sudden these embers just exploded out of the pit, and I had to tiptoe around them all so I can get my path home safely to my bed and blow out my candles.
So let me ask you this. What's your first experience, just movie, cartoon, book, with the word witch? Just, I mean, how old were you? Where did it come from? Was it
Oh,
like the crazy lady next door? What
yeah.
happened?
Actually, it's my grandma, my great grandma.
Oh,
My great grandma. And she was in the closet. She's Sicilian, so grew up Catholic, and she used to babysit me when I was as far as back as I can remember. 3, 4, 5 was my daughter's age now, and she had this little secret room, and she would take me in her room, and she would talk about how people that worked with she'd take me out in the grass and make me go pick dandelion leaves. And, being a little kid, I'm like, ew, this is gross. Dogs pee outside. We're going to put this in our salad and eat it for lunch. Like, what is this, Grandma? What are you doing to me? And she taught me that, when you take a little bit of dirt here and you collect it, she would always be mixing stuff. And she would just tell me it was witchcraft. It's a craft. And then it just kind of came out. Is it what, you're a witch? And she said, yes, but it's not what you think it is. Because Wizard of Oz, grew up watching Wizard of Oz. I'm like, what? Flying monkeys? She was mean. And she's like, no, I'm like Glenda. And I'm like, okay, but you're kind of not, because you're not that froofy. I don't know. She's Italian. She tells you, what's the matter for you? But she inspired me, and that's just how it was. So I was intrigued, immediately intrigued, just because she was just a nature woman, and she seemingly had it hidden, and she just she floated everywhere she went, and people just respected her, and she could heal people just with her vibe in a room. And it inspired me. And I swear to this day, she still is around and is so proud, because I told her I wanted to be just like you when I grow up. And I'm working on it. Working on it.
yeah. Good
Yeah.
job, you.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have that blessing. But I think it's an amazing, sorry, I'm just looking at something strange happening on my head. I think it's amazing when we have people that we can have given us some stuff to kind of go forward with, because then you're really pulling forward. You can truly tell somebody, you have a traditional witchcraft approach.
Yes, I can, but I also grew up Baptist, so it was because from Catholic to the South and Baptist in Georgia. Growing up there, it's a no. Was
Oh
not
yeah.
trick or treating. Is the devil, and it was so. I battled with myself for years because I couldn't feel like I could be myself. It's like, well, I was taught this, I connected with it. Now I understood why Grandma hid it, and it took a while. I hid it and was like, well, maybe I was wrong. And the more I studied the Bible and got to know it and read the stories, which there are some great stories in the Bible and lessons to be learned. But I just didn't understand the logic of it, I guess. I had too many questions, and I didn't connect with it. So that's when I ended up reading about Wicca and such, and I was like, this is it. This is it. This puts a definition on what kind of practice it is. And from there, it was like a weight lifted off my shoulders, and I've stuck with it ever since. My family, some of them still don't agree with me. We don't talk about it. You got good doing this witch stuff on YouTube, and it's like, sorry, you don't have to like it. Sorry if it hurts you, but it's who I am.
Yeah, it's that authentic thing we were talking about. My
Yeah.
family knows, and for the most part, we don't talk about it. Those that come to me and ask me questions, I'm going to talk to them.
Oh,
I
yeah.
have a niece who turned 16 this year, and I've been pretty circumspect around her out of respect for her growth. She, it's hard enough to be a kid. You don't need to have, the truly weird aunt
Yes.
out there. So I try to be circumspect. More and more, she's on my Instagram. I see her stuff. She sees mine, so she knows. But she has her faith, and that faith speaks to her. And that's what I tell people. If you have a faith that speaks to you,
yes,
there is no need to go off, wandering and seeing what else is out there.
No, and
Why
you don't even
do
have to
that?
label it. You don't even have to label it what it is.
Thank you.
And people, that's something, there's so many, teenagers nowadays. And I feel so weird because I still feel super young. I mean, I am, but I still feel 18 in a lot of ways. And kids nowadays, they feel like, okay, I read this book, I'm Wiccan. And it's like, well, it doesn't necessarily fit. And then they panic because they want to, tell their parents and they want to be proud of it. And you don't necessarily have to do that. I mean, you could be 40 years old, decide you want to be pagan or Wiccan, and you don't have to label it. You just, like you said, whatever speaks to you. And it's amazing how much, the older you get, how much you grow and realize that you don't have to label it at all. There's no word for it. And I think
wait till you hit 50. 50 is the new fuck that.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I've heard 40s are you're able to say no. 50s are fuck off. I don't care. I don't care at all. Doing what I want.
Yeah.
And
it's been a lot of fun. What's 60?
60s, you just want to chill. Like, I'm done. Serve me. Serve me. I did my time,
So let me ask you this. What's your favorite form of divination? Do you have one that you like for you and one that you use for clients, or how does that work for you?
I love my tarot cards. I have one deck, only used one deck. It's the Osho Zen card deck. I've only ever used that deck. I love that. And then my pendulum.
You're the second witch in 2 days that's talked about pendulum work, so that's pretty cool.
Love pendulums. I've loosed something. And actually, I use my pendulum to train me in knowing, when you get your gut feelings or you just feel presence of something, a being, a bird, anything, or, a certain core of energy. When I was kind of training myself to be able to really trust in my gut and in my feelings, I would use my pendulum to know and guide me that I was right, kind of like hot or cold. And so now I'll carry it on me. Like, I even have it. I mean, I've got my one in my pocket now, but I won't take it out and use it, if that makes sense. Now, if I have a question, I'll sit down, write questions and do pendulum work, but use it in different ways. I don't know. I'm very eclectic in the ways I utilize different tools, but tarot, I like runes too. Runes as well.
The Osho Zen is a really interesting deck. It's got a great backstory on it. You know that I have a huge collection of oracles, Lenormand, and tarot decks. So
your cards are so beautiful. It's one thing I look forward to every week when you come out with your tarot scopes. I'm like, what is this deck? The one you did, not this past one for this week, the one before that deck was gorgeous.
Which
kind
one
of
did
like,
I use?
Like the macabre style, kind of Tim Burton, I want to say.
Oh, did I use I
Picasso-ish.
must have used Deviant Moon. Was it this one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
That's been a perennial favorite on Eclectic Tarot. It's like in one of the top 10.
Beautiful deck.
Yeah, Patrick did amazing. He's got another deck coming out, supposedly an Oracle and maybe a Deviant Sun Tarot. I keep hearing rumors. So let's see. I'm just looking to see who's here.
Other than that, I do herbs, all about the herbs.
Well, now let's talk about herbs, because that's actually one of the questions. And what I ask people is give me 3 herbs, just 3, and I know that's hard to limit, but that you use in your kitchen as often, or herbs or seasonings. Well, I keep saying herbs, and people are like, well, I like salt. Okay.
Yeah.
But that you use in the altar room, in your work, your craft, and in the kitchen. Talk about 3 of those.
Well, sage would be a big one. Sage is huge. You know, use it in home style potatoes. Goes good in some spaghetti and lasagna. I also, you know, use it in rituals as far as just throwing in the fire to rid of negative energy, cleanse. I like to smudge my house. You know, smudge sticks, sage the house. I do it once a month for sure, all around the doors and windows. I don't know how many people know this. I'd actually like to do a video on it, but if you do a thick enough form of smoke and smudge with the sage stick in your home, you can actually kill bacteria in your house. So if you have somebody who suffers from asthma or dander or just coughing, you know, all in the air, and you want to cleanse your house, and you can't necessarily, you know, in the wintertime, you can't just open the windows. You do a good thick cleanse with a smudge stick that way. I mean, of course, you can't be in the room, you know, let it air out a little bit, but yeah, it will actually kill bacteria. So sage is a big one. Another one I would have to say, off the top of my head, turmeric. Flavorless but beautiful. You can use it as coloring if you want to do homemade paint. It's great anti-inflammatory. I use it all the time. So add it to, you know, rice, noodles, that sort of thing. Also in capsules. It's just fantastic. I have really bad arthritis. I've had it pretty much almost my whole life. And it really helps. It helps my joints, helps stay lubricated. So that's a good one. The last one, I would have to say garlic.
Oh, yeah.
Garlic. Keep away the vampires, you know, normal stuff. But garlic, I'm Italian, so gotta have it in my spaghetti and, you know, eat a pickled garlic bulb or two. And also, you know, it's also good for blood circulation, high blood pressure, low blood pressure, detoxifies your body, you know, keeps your blood clean. So all about that. So yeah,
I
those.
love garlic is one of my top ones because the original tarot deck I ever started with was the herbal tarot, and it
Nice.
associates herb with all the different. It's a very Rider-Waite looking deck, but tower is garlic.
Really? Wow. Wow. That's interesting.
Yeah, when I first saw it, I thought, well, but I like garlic, and I thought, well, garlic purifies, garlic cleanses, garlic can even up some social barriers sometimes.
That's
But
intense.
it's about, yeah.
That's intense because that tower card comes up sometimes and I'm like, oh man, you know. But it's a good thing at times.
Yeah,
Shake
and the
'em up.
tower can be. I just had a discussion with somebody today about the tower. When it comes down, it may
Mhm.
suck, but you got ground to work up from there. You got clear ground, build up again.
I tell my daughter that. She's like, you know, Maria's falling apart. And I said, well, you can't build a new life or a new path on a new path and move forward if you know you're building on a rickety ground. You have to tear down the whole building, start fresh on a clean slate, and build up from there. You know, strong foundation is what it's about. So
Yep.
yeah, demolition, man. That's rough stuff.
Well, now let me ask you. This is a food question,
Okay.
and it may not work for you, yeah, because it's a kind of a Southwest question. Green sauce or red sauce?
Red. Yeah,
Okay.
gotta go with red.
I've learned from my overseas friends that I've got to ask it differently if you're across the pond, if you're in Australia,
Really?
and in India. Yeah, it's very. In India, I think it was. I went even crazier. But in England, you say red sauce, green sauce. They don't know because red sauce. They have something called brown sauce there, so that puts them in the brown sauce or ketchup thing. And then down in Australia, it's been a lot of fun. I've been like a researcher, I guess, on different food stuff. Not that I remember shit, but I can go back and watch it.
Right? Hi, buddy. It's supposed to be night. Oh. Let's see, where's your daddy? So much for the husband. I've got him. I've got him. I got him. I got him. You have a good nap. Yeah. So does that like psychological? Now you got me thinking psychological stuff. So does that mean because I pick red sauce that like I'm full of anger or passion or love or something, or because I didn't pick green, I'm gonna like not be able to pay my bills, or what?
No, it just means when we go to the Mexican restaurant with each other, although to get to have them bring red sauce and green sauce for the chips because I like green sauce.
Love. Yeah, I like that chili green sauce. Hey, go see Dad outside. Go see. Yeah, I like the chili sauce. Well, when you say red sauce, I think marinara. Tomatoes.
Right.
So,
and I should have said, and I actually asked somebody who also has Italian. I said, so is it spaghetti sauce or is it gravy?
ooh, spaghetti sauce, marinara, all the way. Gravy. Gravy,
Well,
gravy. I think biscuits and gravy. White.
Some people
peppery.
call spaghetti sauce gravy.
Really?
Yeah. In fact, I've got a Irish aunt. Her last name is Lynch, or her maiden name, but her married name is Miosi.
Nice.
And her mother-in-law taught her how to make gravy.
I learned something new
it's
today.
spaghetti
like
sauce.
That. Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Is there an afterlife in your belief system?
An afterlife? Yeah. Yes. Well, yes and no. I can't tell you what an afterlife would be, because I believe in reincarnation through and through. So I believe that, I do believe that some people get stuck because they're not ready to leave Earth, even though after they die, I think, they kind of get stuck on, some people say purgatory, in between. I think you can get stuck in a sense if your soul doesn't rest, but I also believe that you can go, and the only way I can describe it is like, Harry Potter, when he died and he went and he saw a Dumbledore and talked to him. It's kind of like you're in just this void, but it's not, you're not there long in hindsight. But I can't pinpoint, it's not walls of gold and jewels like it is in the Bible. You read, paves, sidewalks of golden bricks and such. It's not that. It's not, I don't think there's any materialistic things at all. If anything, it's nature, the woods, the wilderness. But yeah, I think you just come
I
back.
like that.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm a firm believer in reincarnation. Absolutely. I've done past life regressions and had.
I need to do that. I haven't done that yet.
You can do past life with tarot. There's tarot spreads that do past life. I'll send you a link to one I know.
Okay.
But it's pretty interesting. You do 3 cards for yourself now, 3 cards for one life, 3 cards for another, 3 cards.
Yeah, because I'd like to know. No, but I know I've had at least 3. No, I've had at least 3 past lives.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, mine was I'm super into the Elizabethan period. So,
hi, buddy.
He is so adorable.
Thank you. He's my little boyfriend. Oh, bud. His middle name's Soda Pop.
I like Soda Pop.
Yes, Soda Pop's good. It's like The Outsiders. Stay golden pony boy.
Are you hiding from me?
You're being shy, boy. This dirty monkey. He's my little lover boy. He's a good boy. He's an old soul for sure.
Yeah.
Which is wild. There's some connection with him. But yeah, I love being a mama. That's something, tiptoe, make more videos. It's like, man, if I had my way, I would make videos every day. But I'm a mama first, all the way.
Yeah.
And I love it. Love every minute of it. And wouldn't change it for the world.
And that's the way it should be, because that's given to your family, and it's given to yourself too. Again, we were talking about that back and forth. There's some back and forth happening.
Absolutely. And, and people see it as a drag, like, oh man, I got it. No, not at all, and be able to teach them and pass on, my knowledge of herbs and just connection to earth in general to them is, to me, it's a lost art, I guess.
Yeah. People parent differently than I was raised. So I'll just be cautious and leave it at that.
Yeah. You can't. Yeah, I agree. Because I'm that old style parent, very old style, beat my kids or nothing, but stern, firm, but fair, rules, respect.
Well, kids
Respect
without
that
rules,
ass if you don't, no.
right? You got to set boundaries. Otherwise, they grow up with this crazy sense of everything is owed to them. And like, no, so sorry.
You have to work for it and earn it.
Right? When I became a witch, it was uphill both ways to the Covenstead and snow.
I had to make my broom off a switch that I got spanked with every day if I didn't come home and eat all my dinner. Like, what?
Right? So let me ask you this. I'm going to pick you up and dump you on a deserted island. Just you, sand, some palm trees, and some beaches.
Right.
Oh, get happy. You could take 5 magical tools. What do you pick?
5 magical tools. Pendulum, for one. Definitely would like to take a doll, a poppet. Preferably, I will do a white one because it can be used for any color. Tools, I would have to bring, oh man, I'd have to bring a herb of some sort. Bring some marijuana or something. Because that's it's got the most use. I don't know. But a herb of some sort. Honestly, yeah, probably. I'd probably bring some weed because you can cook with it and use it medicinally and relax with it. Not that I'm not a stoner or anything. I'm just saying. Yeah. Well, you know, I lived in Washington, so let's see. Candles. Candles and then a dagger. So what's that?
I like it. Yeah, that's fine.
Is that 5? Yeah, and a dagger.
I think so, yeah. So, okay, very good. I had some of my really practical, I had one Virgo one who's like, okay, well, I'm going to take an athame that's sharpening so I can use it for eating. And everything had dual purpose. And I'm like, okay, it's just magical. We're not going out for survival, people. I'm going to bring you back.
No, definitely, that would be good.
How do you intentionally honor or care for your deity? And I'm going to caveat this with, some people don't like to talk about how they work with their deity, and some do. So if you're comfortable with that, what are some things that you do that are specific for your honor and care for that higher power, if you will?
Me, because it's hard for me to put a name on a deity. So I use the moon and the sun. And the way I honor it is such as this morning, full moon mornings, especially, and new moon mornings, I wake up before the sun rises or right when it's about to sunrise, and I'll go for a walk. Dawn's close and go. And just listen, listen. If I see something neat, a bird or whatever it is, I just take everything in for as it is and appreciate it, and pick up trash if I see anything, or just kind of contribute, do a little pruning, but little things. I don't exert myself, but I just go out and really feel the elements, see the beauty, feel the beauty, and appreciate it and put my thanks out. Do the same thing in the moon, full moon, new moon, fires, charge up, and I pray. Not to the sun, but to the moon. I will, I don't get on my knees and pray, but I will sit down and minimal clothing sometimes, and outside preferably, but be barefoot and just connect, be as raw and natural as possible, and just talk. Don't write it down, don't record it, but let it all out. It's like a confessional, but nobody's there, so you don't have to worry about anything. Not that getting out, but it's just let it out. Let it out. Whether it's crying, screaming, anything, you let it all out. And that's my. And I listen as well, because I feel that the goddess, when I pray, and she'll talk back to me and tell me, give me that kick in the ass that I need sometimes, but what she needs, and that's I make sure I do that until the next time and report back.
We were talking just recently about the fact that a lot of us forget to listen. So I'm really glad you stated that you have to
well, you got to give a chance to listen, you know, because not everything's going to come to you as an action. You're not going to be able to see results all the time, or, you know, necessarily feel it especially if you don't give a chance to. And it's really hard because you're go, 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 go all the time. You know, even if it's just 10 minutes a day, you know, it's you got to give it a chance and to pay attention, or at least be able to feel it. Kind of that channel open all the time where they know that energy knows, okay, go in the back door, sneak in here and get to you.
Yeah.
And I think, yeah, right. What was that? What touched me? But, and I really think that a lot of people really have because I know personally I had a hard time with it. You hear all these people talk about, you know, just set aside 10 minutes a day or 15 minutes a day. Man, it's hard, especially when you got young kids or a husband and work schedules and this and that. You know, I don't know if every woman's this way. Maybe I'm just, I don't know, too much of a giver, I guess. But I take care of everybody first. Everybody. Animals, husband, kids, family first. Then if I have time, I will take care of me in other ways, you know. So it's hard to set aside that extra time.
It is. I tell people my secret weapon, and I don't have kids. I've got animals, but, you know, that's a morning thing. Then the pups go out and the cats do for themselves, and I've got a husband. But my secret is the bathroom door. Close.
Yep, mom's gotta go poo. I'll be back again. Yep, sure do. You know.
Yep, and this one's going to be a long one, guys.
Exactly. No,
So,
it's you know, you have to make that time, even though it's hard. And you know, it doesn't have to be a certain time of day every single time, as long as you give yourself that time.
so this leads us right to the question of, what do you do for yourself for self-care when you have the time? What are things that make you feel nurtured that you can do for yourself?
Candlelight bubble bath.
Woohoo, girl! I like that.
Yes. Now, candles, incense, music. Sometimes bring, you know, Alexa in there with my Echo Dot, play a little trivia. You know, just listen to some music and just literally detail and just relax. I feel like that's and then walks, you know, a walk in the woods. I like collecting stuff, building fairy houses too. And I'm
Ooh,
trying to teach Kaylin. That's something we do. We'll collect little trinkets and a craft. I'll spend hours just making a fairy house.
nice. I had a friend when she was one of my students, and when hers were little,
Hmm.
uh, we set up something, she and her mom and I, that I would go out and leave letters, and they never saw me leave them. So, and they would write back to the fairies.
That's awesome.
It was cool. It was a cool game.
Very cool. Kaylin, she's so into it. Yeah, you know, we make little things out of clay for her to use, and she believes in it. She's waiting to see one day, and I tell her all the time, you know, you get to see one. So dragonflies, you know, little wisps, butterflies, you know, butterflies and fairies painted those wings. You know, she's really into it, and I think it's so important to have that fantasy. That's the wrong word for it, because
It's a connection to the other side that we get turned off. So it's nice
yes.
that you're leaving it on.
Yes, well, you have to. You got to get back to, because me and children are the just purest, most beautiful, untainted souls ever. You know, and if you can stay with your inner child just a little bit. You know, I like sitting on the ground all dirty and no shoes and playing in the dirt and building stuff. You know, it's just the
Yeah,
greatest feeling in the world. But yeah, that's what I mean. Fairy houses, crafting, baths. That's me.
I like it. So she
Yeah.
likes to get dirty and bathe.
Yep. Right?
Just narrow it down. Play in the
Exactly.
dirt, roll in the bubbles. Play in the dirt, roll in the bubbles. Perfect day. So let me ask you this. Name you something that always brings you joy.
My kids laughing.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. Or, you know, my oldest, she just turned 17. Just hearing that, because, you know, they're always like, with everything. So just hearing her have that pep, you know, just when a smile. And, you know, anybody, thank you, you know, thank you. You really made my day. That's just, That's the greatest feeling in the world.
Yeah. Well, then you should know that I'm still seeing people who keep saying TipToeChick is the reason I'm here.
Oh, I love you guys. I really do. I love you so much.
So they're saying some really nice. I keep looking over here and I thought, wait, no, I got to talk to her. Y'all are saying such good things, but I got to.
No,
So
it's just amazing. The support and the love and continued. I mean, it's been what, 11 years, 11 years. No, I don't have 2 million subscribers, and that's fine by me because you know what? The 47, almost 48 that I have been there a long time. And no matter how many names you see in those comments, I can recognize them and go, yep, you've been there from the beginning. Yep, you've been in, yep. And that's awesome. It's the greatest, most, I'm honored. Seriously.
And you were gone for you took a significant break.
I did a couple times, actually. I did. And it's just a lot because I want to be able to give and do so much for others. And me being a cap, it's a kind of a curse where I want to be able to do it just right. And I feel like if I can't do it just right, it's not going to be good enough. And I'm learning that, and after you guys yell at me all the time, that you just want me there to do at least a little something. So I'm really trying to do that. But yeah, no, it got to be too much. And when I get overwhelmed with outside, and I know I need to focus on taking care of a few things, gotta have a happy home to be able to give to others, happy with yourself. So that's why I took a couple breaks.
Yeah. Well, I'm certainly glad you're back because I enjoy watching your channel a lot. You'll say things and I'm like, bah! So it's like, whoa, she did not
fly off the handle, but I can't help it. I'm always me, always. If I do censor as much as I can, but when I get fired up, and I'm really passionate about something. My husband's, you're so fired up. It's like, no, I'm just being animated. I call it I'm animated because I just get into it and I can't stop it, But
well, I like it, so don't stop it. Now we have 3 more questions.
Okay.
And the third to last is, what's your favorite meal?
Oof.
Now you don't have to cook it. You can go out and have it.
Are you talking like breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Or are you talking like actual, like, what am I eating meal? Whatever. Okay.
What are you going to eat? Yeah. What's your favorite thing to put on your plate and put in your face?
Salad. Full-fledged salad. Yeah. Not Greek salad, but just, romaine, tomatoes, onions, black olives, balsamic. Yeah, that stuff. Lasagna.
Nice.
Garlic bread. Brownies. Man, yeah, that's heaven. But whoo, if I eat that every day, holy moly, I just feel like I am not moving for a week.
Right?
But yeah, I love me some Italian. Can't help it. I go through my phases.
Well, yeah. And a good lasagna. My dad was not Italian. He was Irish Catholic. But my mother told me that when he made lasagna, he wove the noodles
for
the bottom layer and then would put in and then would weave noodles for the next. She said it was a total production when he did it. So
that sounds yummy.
I don't know what weaving the noodles. She said he said like made it stay together better.
Well,
I don't know, but
usually if you have lasagna noodles, I mean, it's just one big long noodle, so you have that space in between if you don't overlap them. And if you overlap them too much, then the lasagna's all crooked and it falls apart and it doesn't look good. So no, that's a great idea. I'm gonna have to try that.
Well, tell me if you do. I'll let Daddy know. He's up there,
yeah.
but
I love making my own noodles. Don't do it all the time, but I love making my own noodles. It's a huge difference.
I'll bet fresh noodles. I've never made noodles. I have made noodles disappear frequently because I love pasta.
Oh yeah.
Now, Dee, what is this is the penultimate question. I love that word, so I have to use it. What is your best ghost story for us? Do you have one?
Oh, a ghost story? Oh boy, yeah, I've got tons of them.
Well, pick one and hit us with it.
Well, the only so we call it Malibu. It's where we live. But it was in Georgia. We live in the Cedar house. It was me and my sister. I've only got one sibling. She's 6 years younger than me. And, my mom and dad. Well, we live in this old house, and my dad just one day was talking about this man he saw coming out of my sister's room. And told my mom I was kind of eavesdropping. Kids are nosy. And he just talked about it. This man coming out of a room, and my mom, oh my God, it was a ghost. So, days and weeks and so on go by, and we ended up switching rooms, me and my sister did. And one day I woke up, and I had this pink chair, room decorated like a rainforest. It was the coolest thing ever. But anyway, I woke up and looked over, and there's a man sitting in my chair in my room. And it's not like seeing him like being you see him, but it's a foggy version. It really was a foggy version. Very tall man, very slender, long white hair, parted down the middle, super thin hair. And he always wore, long sleeve black shirt, baggy black pants, and crazy, but just sitting there. So always be scared. And every once in a while, you just kind of see him pop open doors, open up cabinets. Well, one day my dad was laying in bed, and their water bed was there, against the wall. They could see out the door. And my mom, I hear her scream. And my dad, I go in there, Mom, is everything okay? And my dad is like this, and we called him Malcolm. We named him Malcolm. But through like a post, but stood at the door at my parents' bedroom and threw this post at it. My dad moved his head and went to catch it. Was nothing there, but he went and caught it, and he swear that scared the hell out of him. We literally moved not long after that. But he followed us, and he was just like a voyeur. Every once in a while, and if you talk bad about him, he'd get mad. Turn up music real loud, slam doors. But other than that, he never did anything different. And one day he just disappeared. And here at this house, I have a little boy. This is the second little boy I've had visit. And he's very sneaky, but I can't put a pinpoint on why he's here. I don't know. I have no idea. But he plays games. Every once in a while he'll be here, and I feel him here. And he'll peep around the corner, and then you hear him run. Down the hall, up and down stairs. Man, what is he doing? Outside, play shadow games. So I don't know. Every once in a while, they've always had a ghost around. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And I don't know why.
I have them show up occasionally. I had somebody's ancestors show up yesterday when I was talking to them. That was kind of freaky. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's
now,
crazy.
The very last question, and I cannot believe we've hit the end of the show, but the very last question is this. If you go back to when you first started on the path, what's the pithiest, best advice you would have wanted somebody to tell you that you could tell somebody who's starting out on their own path now?
Follow your heart. Just follow your heart. You can read all the books you want. You can watch all the videos. You can talk to anybody, take all the advice you want, and do that, write it down. But if something doesn't feel right, don't do it just because you were told or shown that way. Because you end up losing so much time in real magic work by concentrating on those specifics. You know what I mean? And if you just follow your heart, you can do anything with just what you have, no tools, nothing, just, your vibe, your energy, and you become so much more powerful that way. And I really believe that you can make things happen that way. You don't have to have something to do to do your craft. You don't have to have anything. Follow your heart.
That's beautiful. Follow your heart. One day I'm going to go through, I've gotten such wonderful advice from everybody, because I ask this question of everybody who interviews with me on this Witches of YouTube, and I wish I could just put it together like a one video where you just see somebody follow your heart. Do this, do that. It just like boom, 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 because it's such a wonderful gift y'all give to people.
You should do that.
Because there's so many people.
Make that video.
It's that called editing.
Just edit. You've got plenty of time. You're not writing books and stuff and doing readings and nothing, you know. You're just hanging out all day.
Right. I just hang out, eat bonbons, and
Right.
paint my nail.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Yeah, no. Yeah, it just doesn't happen. No, that's
It's on the list.
oh, yeah, right. The notebook of lists, in the list of lists.
Yes. Yeah. Now, Dee, I know that you have a special way you sign off, and I do too. So why don't you tell people how you sign off, and then I'll say it, and we'll say goodbye.
So I say, take care of tubies, take care of each other, love one another. We'll see you next time.
And seek joy, y'all. Pass it on.